And that's, well, the guy went to the dentist and he had several dental work done. He'd go there and bring the bill. And so it was up to the Voters Relief Club if they're going to pay the bill or not. And it was, that's how money we made at the Fireman's Ball each year. So it was a very well deserving program. So now let me get into some of the people I worked with. I walked into Station 3 after training. We trained for it was 9 weeks. And they were putting I-4 through town at the time, so we had to burn a building every day and put it on the ground, and then next day, same thing. And it was quite extensive, so I got in. I was a 19-year-old probationary firefighter, and there's my first lieutenant, Rudy Owens. Now it's Martin B. Owens, but Rudy because the nickname was, he's named after Rudolph Valentino. He was quite a violinist, and so hence the name Rudy. Rudy came on the job in 1927. Just a completely different era. And if you remember what happened in 1929, we had the Great Depression. And that ultimately affected the city. So in 1932, they closed Station 3, they closed Station 4, and we just had Station 1 and 2. And they laid people off. And they didn't do it by seniority. If you were married, had a family, you stayed. If you were single, you went. Well, my buddy Rudy is single. And he got laid off and found work working in the groves or whatever. There was not a lot of opportunities back in those days, but he made do. And of course, they brought him back when they closed Station 3 and 4, but they reopened 3. And it closed in 1932, but some say it opened up in 36. Some people said it was just closed a year and a half. You ever come to the real deal there? Anyway, between a year and a half and 3 years. And everything came back on the job, and Rudy was my lieutenant, and from the old school. I just really liked him. He was just a good old solid person, a deacon in his church and all that. And then we have other characters. Hugh Minnick. Hugh ultimately became a lieutenant, but he was kind of a countrified type person, the country dialect. And he wrote a magazine article for the Florida Fireman's Magazine called Bob Back Pressure. An apple hand for him to have. And he was famous all over the state of Florida. Good guy who did this too. But then there's a couple of the guys that I worked with that were very interesting. I had to while away the hours. At the Station 3, there's a neighborhood in the back of us that had minor birds. You ever hear minor birds talk? What thrilled the guy, go over there and talk to a minor bird. You know it's going to be a long day. So things like that kind of happen. And then, of course, the department changed, modernized, got more modern equipment. But things were Spartan. When they had a kerosene heater downstairs where they slid the pole, so there was no heat upstairs except the heat that got up through the pole hole, which wasn't a lot. And there was no air conditioning. And we sat out on the apparatus floor to watch TV. And obviously speaking, all you did all summer long was swat mosquitoes and try to stay stay cool if it's all possible. But we did have an exhaust fan up in the dormitory, which had a gentle breeze flowing through all the time. So that was kind of more bearable. But the conditions are kind of spartan. We cooked our meals there, what have you. We were able to go to the store and pick up something to eat. Usually the junior guy had to go and make a grocery list and or have pork chops tonight or whatever. And that still goes on today. With all our technology, I know you've been to Publix and you've seen firefighters in the store. We've been doing that since Christ was a corporal. This is a long time now. And of course, the firehouse meal is something particularly fun. Get some good cooks. And so you learn things right away. You don't complain about the cooking. Man, not good. The cooks tend to be temperamental, so you gotta kind of stoke them. Oh, it's a great meal, even if it wasn't quite what you like. So that's kind of station life itself. And the camaraderie is really important when you do things together. Many times on your off-duty time, and it's just a bond that you establish with these fellow firefighters. I know you experienced that too, Roger. Now, speaking of a bond, across the street from Firehouse 3, these twins moved in. They were 7 years old. You got there?
Just as a
George and
good
Ken.
timing.
And they came over to the firehouse, and we became their second dads, literally. And even off duty, because now they come to my house and we're building a beach buggy, for instance, and we I had a couple of roommates back at the time, and they came over and worked on the beach buggy. Was George and Kenny. Kenny since passed away this year, but George is still with us, and George is in his 70s now. Remember, he came over here at Station 3 and I think we're 61. And, so they're still, in fact, he's my mechanic. My wife had a 65 Ford Mustang convertible, and he took care of that thing. And it got to the point where we weren't using it anymore, so now he said, well, put that in your will and hurt that thing. And it would do better than that. So he's got the Mustang, and we have visiting rights. And he's active in some of the organizations here locally. He did those jacks underneath the apparatus in the museum. He built those and some things like that. So he's had a relationship with us for a long time. But that's a pretty